Greetings, adventurers. This is DM Kurt. Usually I'm on the front porch. I'm out on the back porch because amongst my Christmas decorations are inflatable Santa and inflatable Buddy the Elf for making their little blower motor noises, and this will be a little more quiet. Uh, yeah, it's 20 some odd degrees out here. If you want to incorporate extreme weather into your D&D campaign, if you're playing 1E, there's the Wilderness Survival Guide. Has some rules for that sort of thing. Frostbite or heat exhaustion, depending on which direction you're going. If you're playing 5E, exhaustion rules. Con check or take a level of exhaustion for every day of not properly taking care of yourself in the climate. Trying to cold camp in the snow, or trying to forced march in the middle of August in plate mail. But anyway, I'm not going to get into the current D&D kerfuffle involving Wizards of the Coast, a division of Hasbro Incorporated. They're doing this thing where 6th edition is coming out, or 1D&D is coming out in 2024, and the open game license is under question. And so far, what people are hearing is not sounding good. I say don't worry about it because it's not set in stone until the day it hits print, you know? So I'm not even going to get into that. I just wanted to give you all an update on what's going on in my games and what kind of went right and kind of went wrong. So my 2nd edition game fell victim to scheduling conflicts. It happens. The 5e game, the players did what they needed to do. They completed basically the first chapter of Night Below. They came in to the Broken Spire Keep through the underground escape route, which put them basically right at where the boss's room was. He had set out some sentries, and they were triggered to, oh no, there's intruders, and they ran off. They dropped some caltrops behind them. The players had a taste of their own medicine because caltrops cheap, easy. Any idiot can throw those behind him to keep the bad adventurers at bay. And then we had basically a boss fight. So what I did is I took the stock creatures that were supposed to be there. There were a couple of Grimlocks. They're thrown out as cannon fodder, and a couple of bandits that were, trying to do their job for the big boss. The big boss was a high-level priest of a snake cult who had, when he was alerted, he cast, one of his only defensive spells on himself, defensive buff of free action, so which came into play. They threw Entangle down, and he wasn't affected by it. He didn't need to move out of the area he was in until he felt the need to move out of the area, so they didn't know he wasn't affected until it was time for him to bolt. And what I did is I turned the character sheet around, because I made up a character sheet for Ranchifus, and folded it up. I held my hand over everything but the one circled thing. I showed that to the one player, and it said free action cast. He's like, oh, okay, all right. So he knew I wasn't just blowing smoke when I had the guy run later and didn't roll strength saves for Entangle. As a boss, I was going to have Lair actions. You can throw Lair actions onto sufficiently important creatures if they're the boss of their little group. Matt Colville said something about it years ago. His Lair action, being a snake cultist, was on initiative 20s. Some random character would be attacked by a small poisonous snake coming out from under a piece of furniture or from, wherever. So that would just lend to this whole, hey, we're in a dangerous spot. Things are happening around us. Unfortunately, I forgot that note. I forgot that I was going to plan that Lair action. The other major wrinkle is when the half of the party was in the had finally got into the room. That's about the time they noticed who the priest had been talking to. He'd been talking to an emissary who was a mind flayer. And they're like, oh crap, mind flayer. Um, one of the party members had a cursed item. And this was several sessions back. I picked up a certain item, and I said, okay, make a saving throw. And he failed. And I said, okay, you get this nifty item. And here's the benefits of this item. But also, there is a curse, and you failed your save. And the curse is, you're going to have to obey the commands of certain creatures who are within a certain chain of command. Just file that away. He's like, oh crap. Okay. So he's been carrying this spear around with him. Now, if you read the original module, you may look in the Orcs Beneath the World section in Chapter 1, or Book 1, where it says that one particular spear is, you pick it up, there's no save, you're flat out dominated. I allowed them a save, and they failed. So, what happened was, the Mind Flayer saw who had that item, and he said, telepathically, that other party member of yours, roll randomly or not, that other party member is a member of the snake cult. They are a traitor to you. You must strike fast, put them down before they can react. So we had inter-party fighting, which is normally not a good thing, but it took two party members out of the equation for the fight, which led to more tension. As they're like, okay, we have inter-party fighting, plus we have a couple of serious bad guys going on. Oh crap, oh crap. And it led to some serious tension. The Mind Flayer, my intention with that Mind Flayer was he had his own agenda. The cultist had the agenda where he was going to fight until he realized things were lost, and then he was going to try to flee out of the keep. The Mind Flayer was only there to see if the cultists could do their job. So he just set two party members against each other, threw down a mind blast, dropped one character, and severely stunned one, did some damage, and then his next thing was to just leave, because that wasn't his problem. He's not tied to this keep. He's not tied to this cult. He just wants to make sure they can do their job, and if they can't handle it without him, well, they're not worthy. That worked out pretty good. The party members did prevail in the end. The evil priest decided to bolt out the door, and we used some chase mechanics that I picked up from another YouTuber. I can't remember who it was. I'll put it down in the description if I can find out who it was. But basically, you take 4 d8s, and you have the player who's chasing take 4 d8s, and you say, okay, when I say go, you roll the dice. If there's any 8s, you set those aside. You re-roll what you still have. If there's any 8s, set those aside. Re-roll until you've set all your dice aside, because you've got 8s on all those dice. When I say go, we're both doing it, so whoever does it first. So you get this frantic, oh no, we're rolling dice, and that's your chase mechanic. Oh, they tried to if you can explain to me how you have a really good advantage and should be able to catch the guy, you start with 3 dice instead of 4. That should make it easier for you to run out of dice quicker. And I, of course, can alter how fast I throw the dice if I want to kind of give it to you, because I intend for them to make it. Or I can just roll fast as I can, because you're going to roll fast as you can. Well, they ended up winning. The barbarian caught the priest. So I narrated it as, okay, you chase him down this corridor and that corridor. He kind of fakes through, is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? And then he runs straight for this one door. And when he goes to pull it open, it wedges onto a piece of debris and doesn't go all the way open. And that's when you get him. That's when you're on him. Now roll to hit if you want to hit him. Or tell me what you want to do. You're on him. Oh, I want to hit him. Hit him. Roll. And we went back and forth. you know, doing a little one-on-one fight for a couple of rounds, not many, like 2 rounds, and the barbarian killed him and combat was over. So that's kind of my main mechanics that were coming into play for this session was lair actions, even though I forgot them, and those chase mechanics. Everybody leveled up. I'm eager to hear what everybody picked. One player wants her rogue to multi-class. I believe most of everybody else is going to stay single class, thankfully. I like that. Anyway, DM Kurt, out.